welcome to Progression, an amateur builder's journey to becoming an architect, a series where I will be building something different each time, eventually going back to my past builds to see how I can improve. Today, I'll be building a lighthouse. There on that island right there. The blocks I will be using today are some iron bars, white concrete, red concrete, dark gray concrete, stone brick slabs actually, and yellow stained glass, and some stone brick stairs. I decided to lay them out so that if you want to, you can make the same build that I am. So anyway, let's get started. So I started off my lighthouse by first making a base in a basic shape that I wanted the lighthouse to be. Mine was an oval shape, but you can make yours a circle or even more of an oval if you want to. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's a rounded shape. I made mine in an oval just so that it could fit on the island. I didn't want to do too much to the environment of the island, so I just compressed the lighthouse a little bit. And then I made that tall pole you can see with the red and white stripes to give myself an estimate of how high I wanted my lighthouse to be and where I wanted the red and white stripes to be. So I made the base white part 33 blocks high before I went on and started building the red stripes. I will be putting up along the side a image of the base so that you can see how mine was looked, so you can do that yourself. But I made the red stripes by first putting a row of 5 blocks high and then another row of 3 white blocks high, and then I went 4 red blocks high and then another 3 white concrete blocks high, and then I ended up with 3 red more concrete blocks high, and then I finished up with 5 white concrete blocks high before I put on the top. And as you can see right now, I'm currently filling in the first red stripe and I'm moving on to the second white stripe, or the first white stripe actually. I later went in and added some windows. I put the windows on the one set of windows on the base of the tower, and then a second set of windows on the second red stripe. I put them in the middle of it. That's the reason why I chose 5 walls, so that the windows would be center, and so that they're like the little 1x1 windows. Well, actually, they're 1x2 windows, but so because the lighthouses usually have small windows, and then I later went in and put in some spruce trap doors to make it look like there's window panes, and I put some flower pots and things like that to give it a little bit of effect of decoration. I'm almost about to start. I'll show you the top of the lighthouse soon. I'm almost done with the second to last white stripe, as you can see here, and then I'll finish up with the red stripe in a little bit. But anyway, yeah, I should start working on it. There we go. See, here we go. I started working on the base of the top of the lighthouse. See, the lighthouse is usually, I made my lighthouse have a little walkway on top. So what I did first is I went an out one with the gray concrete blocks, not dark gray concrete blocks, just gray concrete blocks, and then I went up 2 after that, so it was like 1 out and out. I tried making it all with iron bars, but I decided against that. I didn't like how it looked, and then I tried with some stone brick walls, and I didn't like that, so I decided to just make the edges all out of gray concrete, and then put iron bars in between those, because I wanted to use iron bars because the edges of lighthouses are very thin and easily to fall off. And then I went around and I changed the last white block on the top row of the white stripe to gray so that it was more cohesive, because it didn't mesh well. And then after I was done with that, I started working on the top of the lighthouse where the actual light went. Now, while I didn't do redstone because I'm not good at redstone at all, I tried working it out earlier to see if I could make it rotating. It didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. So I just decided to have all the lights be on anyway. But it took me a little while to figure out how I wanted the glass windows to be, because this design of the oval of the lighthouse created a really weird design of this, which kind of made me wish that I made it all circular to begin with, but I managed to come up with something. And so, as you can see here, I initially thought I was going to put one row of yellow glass panes on the 2 block wide section, but I decided against that because it didn't really go well. So I only put it on the wall ones, as you can see, where there were only 3. But I made this about 6 or 5 blocks high, and then I just kept going inward with the top. And I just turned on all the lights in the lighthouse so that at night it would still glow. But there's no real redstone other than levers keeping the lights on, because, yeah, but I did go back in and remove some glass panes because I didn't like how they looked. But, yeah, I did go in and change some of this. I did remove some corners so that it looked more like it was becoming a point. But this is the inside of the lighthouse. As you can see the windows I made with pots, and I used white stained glass for those. But I used stone brick. This is where the stone brick stairs and the stone brick slabs came in. And I built them in a spiral staircase because I really like spiral staircase. I always wanted to do this. But what I did for the corners, I used the slabs there to make the lighthouse go up, but in the corners. And then I went around and I made a level, because there was going to be 2 levels in this lighthouse. And I was initially doing those with stone brick slabs, but I decided it would be easier with just regular stone bricks. And because then I just kept making the stairs come up. And this took me a little while to figure out initially because I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the railing. And so I then decided that I was just going to make like 4 pillars. See, there's 1. Here's the other 4. And then So the point of these 4 pillars was to be a kind of like a support, but to also make it easier for me to put in the railing, which I will be putting in a little bit. But I was deciding between either just putting some railing, like either a stone brick stairs or iron bars, or making the iron bars go all the way up. Though I did decide on just making the iron bars go all the way up, which you will see in a little bit. But here's the second level with more stairs. This is the one that I made in the center of the 5 one. Yes, I believe this is the 5 one or the 4 one. I think it's the 5 one. But yes, here's where I just put the iron bars up. I was initially deciding right here whether or not I wanted to put them just along the side, and then I decided I will put them along the way, but then I was having some trouble with the top first level and how the iron bars would go along there, so I decided to put like a little stone brick as like an overhang to like mark where there would be a walkway entrance where people could walk through, and then there'd be iron bars on top of that. And that's ended up what I went with. And then, so it was easier for me to place the iron bars look like this, and they kind of added to the effect of like a support beam kind of the lighthouse. Like I don't think lighthouses really have support beams, but I think it added to the effect of this a little bit. And then here was the exit to the top, to the viewing platform. Like I was making little stairs, and I had a little trouble here just because of the positioning of the light itself. I had to remove some blocks, place some more stone blocks in order to make it a little bit more cohesive. And it took me a little while to figure that out because I needed to remove some of the blocks of the light itself. And there was a bunch of empty space underneath there, so I just filled that in with some stone brick blocks. And basically I just fixed it all up to make sure that there was stairs could fit in there, and that it didn't look like it was just an empty chasm, so I filled in stone brick blocks everywhere, and I ended up putting a little light right there, just sitting instead of all the hanging lights I did afterwards. So, time for the tour. And here is the finished product. Oh, it's so big. I love it. I added some vines along the edges to give it the feel that it was in disrepair, and like the sea plants were climbing at the edge, like the algae was like taking over the plant because no one was really taking good care of it. And then I've got a little path here made of stone bricks and some, path blocks to give it more of a feel that like, this lighthouse was supposed to be here and not just kind of slapped here in the middle of the ocean. So like gives it more of a in-tune feel to the environment. And then I put the lighthouse on a bunch of stone brick blocks so that it would feel like it's kind of like on a foundation area. That's kind of what I did down here as well. I used the smooth stone blocks to give like it that foundation feel, but more walkway foundation instead of just stone brick foundation. So I used these instead. And then back here, I turned into a little storage area with barrels, shulker boxes, browns, and chests so that it would be like a little storage area, and like this is just where everyone keeps things when they go out to sea. And here is a bunch of cobwebs. I put cobwebs all throughout the lighthouse to add to the disrepair effect that the vines on the outside give, along with a couple of lights to light the place up and stop some mobs from spawning. So let's go upstairs now and see what the rest of the lighthouse has to offer. There's more cobwebs and more lights as we go up, and here we are to the windows. This is, I put some vines near the plants as well, so it seemed like these are also overgrowing. That's why you saw some hanging off the ledges outside. And I've made another storage area with more shulker boxes, barrels, and chests. I use the brown shulker boxes so they look like crates and not just shulker boxes. And then I used a little stone wall here to prevent people from falling off, and some more cobwebs and lights. Now let's go to see the rest of the places. We've got one more layer before we go to the top. And here it is, another window area. I did the same thing as the last layer with the overgrown plants of the vines, another storage area, and some more stone walls to prevent people from falling off. More lights and more cobwebs. Now let's go to the top. And here we are. There is the big light behind us and some iron bars to prevent people from falling off. Oh dear. That doesn't seem to work too well. But it is what it is. I'll probably change these next time to more stone bricks, because that seemed to work pretty well, but I like the aesthetic that it gives. I did use stone bricks along here to like give it the feel of like points around it. When I look at Lighthouse, they all had like these points on this little walkway area that there was, and I put some stone bricks walls here so that people wouldn't go into there. But yeah, that's pretty much the lighthouse. And I added like a little iron bar right there to like make it look like it's a little tip. Started snowing was built it, but I'm actually really proud of this build. This took me a while, but I think it looks nice. So anyway, thank you for joining me today on Progression. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.